Okay, so today we are going to solve replace elements with greatest element on the right side. So this says that given an array, replace every element in that array with the greatest element among the elements to its right and replace the last element with minus one. Okay, so for every element, we are supposed to replace that element with the maximum element that we have on the right of it. So one very basic would be to have a for loop going each of these elements, and for each of the elements I'll have another for loop which will calculate the max to its right. So for 17 we'll get 18, for 18 we'll check the max here which would be 6, for 5 the max here would again be 6, for 4 the max would be 6, and so on. But as you can see, one repeated thing we are doing is we're calculating the max to the right. One easier way would be to just keep track of the max of the right and just replace that with the max. So let's say we'll start from the right, and the max value will initially be minus 1, and we'll put the max value here, and then we go on, and now my max will be max of minus 1 at this element, so that is 1. So now for this I'll just replace that max value here, so that will be 1, and my new max will be max of 6, 1 minus 1, that's 6. So for next I'll just replace the max, which will be 6, and then I'll calculate. So yeah, so the idea here is to go from the end of the array to the start, and what we are trying to do is calculate max at each point and replace that value with the max that we have. So yeah, this is the idea. So let's say I'll have int max initially as minus 1, and I'll start from the end of the array, minus 1 until I greater than equal to 0, I minus minus. And what I'll do is my array of I will be equal to max, and my max, I'll update my max to max comma array of I. So the thing here to note is that if I'm doing this, I'll lose my array of I value, because what it's going to do is it will replace the end value with minus 1. So given our example in this, what's going to happen is it will first replace it with minus 1 and then calculate max with minus 1 and minus 1. So everything here will be minus 1 since I have that value. So one way to avoid this would be, let's store the max value in a temp variable, right? And my array of I will be temp. This I'll do it at the end of it, and my calculate. So what I'm doing here is I don't want to lose this value, right? So I know my max is minus 1. I'm going to calculate the max first, which would be, I store this in temp as well. And then what I'm doing is I'll calculate the max again, which will be minus 1 and 1. So that's 1. And that's when I'll replace the area of I with the max of it, with the temp. So that way I do not lose that value. So if you have to go for 6, it would be, I'll store my max is 1. Um, and my temp would be 1 again, right? And my array of this will be temp, and I'll calculate max first. So max would be max of 1 and 6, so that's 6. And at the end, I'll replace this with the temp variable. So yeah, this is what I'm trying to do here. Uh, okay, let's see if this works. Gets missing. Oh, they expect me to return the array as well. So let's return our original array. That looks good. Submit. Awesome. So in terms of time and space, this is O of n, since I'm going from the end to the start once. And space-wise, I'm not using anything. I'm modifying the same array, so it's O of 1. So yeah, thank you.